Welcome to Teaching Artistry with Courtney J. Body. That's me. This is a podcast that celebrates artists and advocates for community engagement. And like you, I'm home and looking to connect however I can. So we've partnered with Creative Generation to launch this video series of the podcast called #KeepMakingArt. And here is where I am talking to creatives who are making and sharing art, and or they're guiding others to make and share art, or they're pondering what they can do in this moment. And if you haven't already, subscribe please to the YouTube channel. We're also on social media. Follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. And all right, that's good, right? We're good. So let me introduce you to our guest for today, Sofiya Cheyenne. Hi, Sofiya.
Hi, Courtney. Thanks for having me.
I'm happy to have you. How are you and your family doing?
Luckily, everyone is healthy and we're doing very good. We have resources, we have shelter over our heads and food for as long as we need. So feeling really grateful about that right now.
Excellent. And I get to see you a lot because we work together at the New Victory. And can you tell everybody how you identify as an artist?
Yes, I identify as a performance artist, theater maker, singer, dancer.
Excellent. And I know this, so I'm just going to ask you. What were you working on prior to for all of us needing to stay home and physically distance?
Yeah, so I was up in New Hope, Pennsylvania at Bucks County Playhouse. We were teching a show called Otherworld, and it was supposed to be its world premiere. It's a new musical that I've been on the creative team for like about 2 years, almost 3 years now. So it was a new musical called Otherworld.
And you shared with me a clip. Do you want to set that up?
Yeah, please, let's do it.
All right. So what is the piece about?
Otherworld is an adventure musical. It's a new story, really about connection, family, loss, love. So many beautiful human themes to it, but at the core of it, it's really about human connection and how human connection can truly make us better people, change us, and make the world a better place. So it's really fun. It's also got a great diverse cast. There's people from all sorts of walks of life, different ages, different ethnicities and cultures, and it really speaks to that in the story as well, which I love and I'm very proud of.
Wonderful. So we're going to just play this clip. Here we go.
A piece of every paycheck goes to satisfy my face. Upgrading graphics cards and CPU and RAM. It's more than just a game, it's who I am. So the forces of light have gathered in another attempt to defeat me and my army of Borbarak. Let us see if your powers are any match for mine. Everybody fall in line behind the slayer of brute force. Tiger strike just gave the sign to throw the grenade or a grapefruit game. A clean attack on the Borbarak, no turning back.
Oh no.
Everybody stay awake. Let's not make any mistakes. And for God's sakes, control your pet. Sorry.
All right, debuffers, orient to God's defenses now!
Trav, be ready with your healers. We're at it, kid. Steady, the big fella's weakening.
Okay, everyone, burn in with everything you've got in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1!
The light bolts will jolt this gold. Look out there, attacking with ice blast. The torque in my fork will port this door. Any moment, magnetic devastation smells. Now's the moment to cast. At 6, a piece of every paycheck goes to satisfy my face.
That's great. It's just play it again. Wonderful. Well, what fun.
Yeah, that's our opening number, and it's really about a group of gamers, and it's the backdrop of this story is a video game, and humans get sucked into the video game, and then they have to find their way out. So it's very fun. It's epic, huge, adventurous. The costumes, the design, the story is just really, I think, world changing. It's never been told before, and I'm just so proud to be a part of it. That first song is all of the gamers sort of getting into the game and playing, and you see like the bolts of lightning coming at you, and we're all just having fun, like in our gamer mode sort of idea. So yeah, it's really fun. It's always a great time when we're rehearsing and we're doing the show. We got right up to our first preview night, and Pennsylvania had at that point like started closing down their restaurants and their bars, and I think like the day before that, it was March 13th, Broadway was closed, and that was the big teller of, yeah, we're gonna have to postpone and put a pause on this story right now. So
which I find actually is quite timely based on the fact that everything we are able to do mainly is in a digital space.
I know. Right.
Yeah.
It is very timely. It's funny. One of the main producers and creators of the show actually had said that, and said that this story in a very timely way does talk about that digital world that a lot of people really live in. Like people that are very into video games do that all day, every day, and also the importance of that sort of real human connection outside of the screen, and how those moments are also ones that we need to hold on to. So it's got all those like great messages in it, and it's really fun. It was very, very sad and bittersweet to have to let the show go for now. It's so up in the air right now. We don't know what's going to happen.
And so the fact that you are already on this very creative path, I am curious, in now that we're about 5 weeks in, and by the time this airs, multiple more weeks, what have you been able to, I don't know, think about, glean from this, or create?
Yeah, I think coming back home was very hard for me, especially I'm one of a good chunk of people that have been with the show for the last 2 years. So we're really gearing up towards this world premiere. It was just like, this is the time we get an audience in front of us, so it was so sad to have to let it go. And I know for me, emotionally, I was really distraught. The first week I was home, I was totally in a funk. Like I was like, the post-production blues that a lot of people get, it was like that, but like times 10 sort of, just because we were just so close, and tech is this like crazy hard experience that challenges you, and then we were right at the end of it. But yeah, it with that came sort of this block. Like I feel I've been very blocked in a creative way since I've been home, and I'm as a teaching artist, as an educator, as an organizer, I've been trying so hard to find like, how can I find my creativity? How can I bring parts of me out? But it's been very challenging. And for the podcast audience, I'm actually about 7 months pregnant right now. So I'm at the moment, also on the journey to motherhood, and about to create a family. And so that's been emotionally and physically taxing on me at the same time in this quarantine space.
Yeah, I was thinking like a few things popped into my head. One was that I haven't been in a production in a long time, but I know exactly what you're talking about. And there are many articles that were coming out, at least in the last couple of weeks, about that sort of deep depression, that we're going through grief. We're grieving many things, whether we're grieving having lost a family member or a loved one, we're grieving the sort of freedoms that we've had that we can't have right now. And then, our creative work, or our work in general, if we've lost work, right? So there's a lot of things to to sort of be introspective about during a moment like this, which I think is, there's no need to judge ourselves for any of that. And then in thinking about just about the fact that you're about to start a family, like that takes a lot of brain space, that and emotional space and physical, obviously physical space, right? And so there's some, if you think about that as a creative process unto itself, you are being creative now, yeah?
Yeah. I've definitely, in the last 2 weeks, I think that I've been starting to shift in a more lighter way, in the sense of saying, you know, yes, like I am creating in a way that I've never created before. Not only like with my body and creating this life, which is just every day when my belly gets a little bigger, I'm like, this is really happening. But also in the sense of like this, because I'm home and I'm not, you know, going out on auditions or like doing the networking game, which is so part of being an artist. Which for me, it makes that like networking part of it makes me feel productive, like because I'm not doing that as actively. It's like creating, where I'm learning how to create in a different way. And I'm finding these other parts of my creative toolbox, so to speak, that I'm tapping into that I guess I never really thought of before. And because we're in this time of a lot of loss, like you said, and pain, and I've been really tapping into like my healing side, like how can I heal myself, how can I heal others with my creativity. And with that comes actually a lot of my background and my roots, which I'm part Taino Native American from Dominican Republic. And I've been very, very fortunate to grow up in a house where like I learned the language and the culture and the history of those people. A lot of like Hispanics, whether you're from Cuba, Puerto Rico, or DR, they don't know about the Tainos, but I'm really like steeped in it. And with that, I have songs and like tea remedies that I make, and all sorts of things that I've been able to use in this time while I'm home. So I've just felt compelled to like sing some songs, like native songs that I learned as a kid. I've been brewing teas of like natural home remedies like ginger and lemon and turmeric, and trying to share that with other people. So on, whether it's on social media or with friends, you know, on Zoom like this.
Well, speaking of sharing,
Yeah.
you did post a beautiful song on your Facebook and potentially other social media spaces. Can we see that?
Yeah, totally. Let's do it.
Again, I'm sharing. I'm very tech savvy all of a sudden. Okay.
Calls, and I just feel like singing a song right now. So I'm gonna do it. So here we go. Way ya, hey ya, hey yo. Way ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey yo. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey yo. Yahoo, yahoo, hi ya. Way high, way high, ooh. Way ya, hey ya, hey yo. Way ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey yo. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey yo. Yahoo, yahoo, hi ya. Way high, way high, oh. Way ya, hey ya, hey yo. Way ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey yo. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey yo. Yahoo, yahoo, hi ya. Way oh, hi, way, hi, way, hi, oh.
That was beautiful.
Thank you. And what a lot of people don't know is actually I learned that song from my mom, and my mom is a nurse right now in the hospitals, you know, working really hard on the front lines of all of this sickness. And every time I watch it, I'm like, oh, I didn't realize it, but I was sort of singing it for her too, you know. And just I'm, you know, thinking about her every day, praying that she's okay and it's all good in where my parents are in Brooklyn. So, but
Well,
I've loved to just, I realize more and more every day that like that's the creativity I want to share now is my past roots, my native roots, and it's new for me, so it's great and weird.
yeah.
And
But what a great thing to explore. And that I interviewed Ty Defoe, who is also an Indigenous artist, and he talked about how we have the gift of time in this moment, and that we, if you think about like a nest or a basket that we can fill, so maybe we're filling it with things that we haven't really thought that we could share in certain ways. And I loved that idea, so I offer that to you as well.
thank you.
Yeah.
And funny that you even used the word nest, because I had another friend tell me you're nesting right now as a woman that's, you know, creating life, like you're nesting and that's what you are supposed to be doing. And when she said that word to me, I was like, oh, that makes so much sense. And yeah, it's like also these native roots that I have, these indigenous stories that I know, they're also the things that I want to share with my children and our family and keep alive, you know, for our family. So yeah, it's all coming together, and it's been, in a weird way, COVID has brought a new creative page to my book, and I feel grateful for that right now in this time.
Now, you mentioned that you are an activist. What are you an activist for?
Yeah, I'm heavily involved in the dwarfism community. I have dwarfism, a rare form of dwarfism, and Little People of America is a support organization that it's a nonprofit volunteer organization with over 8,000 members from all over the world. So it's the biggest advocacy organization for the dwarfism community. And I'm actually the chair of the Artist Coalition. So there's an artist group, and I've been, you know, trying to foster the artists within the community on how we can support each other and help each other during this time. Little people, I use that word interchangeably. Little people, dwarfism, it means the same thing to us. Little people are sort of, you know, most of us would be considered high risk in this time because of some underlying issues we have. A lot of us have respiratory issues. And I know from the people that I've spoken with, people are worried and scared for their life and have, you know, issues with health insurance and like all the life things that you think about. So with the Artist Coalition, I've actually launched a visual arts project called Shelter in Place, Connecting Through Community. And we have a few people signed up, and we're gonna get a group of visual artists to do a call and response kind of project where we pair a bunch of artists together, and then they create art based on each other's art. So it's a call and response. They can create as many pieces as they want, and then once we finish that, we'll have that done like in a 2-week period. We're gonna do like an online exhibition, I think in the summer, like in July or something. So as a, you know, as an activist, as a community organizer, I've been trying to be there for my community too, in a creative way.
And well, one, I would like to know when it happens so that the podcast can support sharing it, this project
Great.
out.
Thanks.
But also, yeah, but also I've been asking this question. This is the last question. And I've been asking this question in many different forms. But as somebody who I don't always think of myself as an activist. I am an advocate, but I don't know if I'm always doing things that would quantify me as an advocate, activist. But I am curious about what your thoughts are around how artists could be mobilized, utilized, optimized, maximize, all those things in this moment now before we're going into re-engagement or re-entry into a socially engaging world, knowing that there are deep budget cuts to state budgets that have effects on different districts and cities budgets. When, who, what should we be doing to make sure that the arts, if the medical professionals are on the front lines now, that artists are actually the next in line to create responsive opportunities through arts to be able to continue to provide ways for different communities to express themselves, because we know that trauma has lasting effects, etc. I could ask it a bajillion different ways, but you get my point.
Yeah. Thank you for that question. I think it's through community, actually, and that's what I've been feeling is, if we are home, if a lot of us, whether we're unemployed right now or not, that we need to find that communal space that we can share as artists and create together, even if it's through a virtual platform like Zoom, or like my idea is this call and response sort of thing, where it's just like, I email you a painting, you email me a poem, I email you a photo, and it goes back and forth in that way. I think if we create our rock of community, whatever identity you want to be in, right, in this time, then maybe when we come out of this, that's like just we have strong, powerful art that came from those communities to share. And what a beautiful thing that I think we can show that, okay, yeah, people have died, a lot of loss has happened, or a lot of change has happened, but there still is community, there still is connection that we can find within each other. And as creatives, I feel like that's going to help me survive this, so that's what I say, I guess.
Well, thank you so much, Sofiya, for being on the show, for sharing your beautiful culture and cool creative projects. I'm really looking forward to seeing some of that work that you're talking about in terms of shelter in place. And let's keep talking.
Thank you so much, Courtney. I had a lot of fun. Thanks for letting me share. And I'm so glad and, proud and honored to be on your podcast where you're highlighting people that are doing great work. Like, I can't wait to learn about the other people on this show too,
Well, so, what a wonderful segue.
Go right ahead, take it.
But yes, don't forget to subscribe on the YouTube channel. There are already 5 episodes that are out, and now I think there'll be many more. In total, I think you're number 18. And so I'm not sure exactly when it's going to end, but we're also recording this for the podcast. So there'll be podcasts, and there's lots of content on that platform. So follow us on SoundCloud, as well as Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And hey, thanks for watching. And remember to keep making art.